Good evening. Now, news may be a bit thin on the ground this evening, but anyway, we're doing a special show we call Tinfoil Hat Night, where we all bring and share our favorite space conspiracy theories. We're home for a lot of audience participation. Nothing is off the table. Along with our returning guest, who for some reason agreed to be here, Dallas Bienhoff. From the news desk at the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, my name is Thomas Andrew Olson, and this is The Unknown Quantity. And as you know, this program is brought to you by the Center for Space Commerce and Finance. What do? We champion and strengthen emerging space startups and space-adjacent enterprises worldwide. Our pitch events and world-class boot camps fortify startups to be better investor-ready. Now, a lot of our work, especially this podcast, is supported by listeners and fans like you. Remember, the Center is a 501c3 nonprofit, so just go to our website, cscf.space/support. Click that donate button and drop a little in the tip jar. That's always helpful. And in addition, if you like the show, you support the show, tell your friends, bring them in. And now here is my oldest space friend, Michael Lane, who is so keen to be here. He's been chewing on his own totem pole. Michael, come on in.
Hey, how are you?
Okay, you didn't think I'd be back, did you?
Oh, no, I was wondering.
The references. Yeah.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I'm looking forward to a whole bunch of fun tonight. So, Jason's already here.
Jelly Bean?
Person turquoise waving. Okay, cool. That's going to be fun.
Nice to have you. Appreciate it.
So I understand you did. I have to give you shit for this. You did get the tinfoil.
I'm so dumb.
You came up with an option. I give you credit. I give you props for creativity.
I went and I went to the store and I screeched into the parking lot just in time. Everything's cool. Unpack from the store, put the stuff in the freezer, blah, blah, blah. Sit down, ready for the show, pull out my tinfoil, and it's wax paper, it's parchment paper. Because they're sitting side by side at the grocery store, I grabbed.
Yeah, and being from a blue state, you just have no sense of discernment.
I like what you did there. And John's right. I don't cook, so I don't actually have aluminum foil at my house.
Well, your mom will appreciate it if she likes baking.
Yeah.
That's the best stuff to have. We have a crap ton at home. We have a crap ton of everything. I got tin foil for the Russian army. I started stocking up after Biden got in. Are you kidding? So right. Hell, and spam, and God. You never know. You never know.
Parchment is transitioning. Okay. That's the night it's going to be, y'all.
That's the night it's going to be, man. This is fun.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. What?
No, there's one thing we can point to. Is kind of semi-serious. This is the 64th anniversary today, February 20th, of John Glenn's first orbital flight.
Wow.
He didn't get to do the second one until 1997, but hey, 35 years, whatever it was, he got there.
Did you ever get to see him speak?
No.
I was in DC at the what's the Smithsonian? Not the main one, but was it UV something? I forget what it's called. The one that's out towards Dulles. That's a giant hangar where all the big stuff is. So he was out there, and he was getting a Lifetime Achievement Award for yet another thing, and I don't remember a word that he said, but I remember that it brought a tear to my eye. It was just this powerful orator that just spoke to me. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. It's not recorded. There's no history, but yeah, it was powerful. I was a big fan of him. Kind of after the fact, like he had done all these crazy things, and I'm like, wow, who is this guy? I went because I don't remember why I went. Yeah, it was cool. So good. I didn't know it was the anniversary, but I'm glad you did, and I'm glad you pointed it out.
Yeah, yeah, it just happens. We've had some times on the show where certain things happen. It's like, oh, it's the anniversary. We should, say something. Because next year it'll be on the 21st or something. You know what I mean? There's nothing there. You've got. I'm sure there's a calendar somewhere that on this day in space in 1958. I don't have one of those, so I just think of the important shit.
That would be a good database to have. That'd be an easy website to build. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. Just have the AI do it. I'm sure they, build it in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do we got today?
Okay, just a handful of news items, fairly quick. This is something. The first one is actually something from last time that we just didn't manage to get to. And I just wanted to show that because everyone's going on how we have to compete with Starlink and we have to do this and we have to compete with Musk and we got to do something. Over in Europe and the EU, they're going, okay, well, somebody finally took a look at everything and said, you know what?
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Development might take many years. Reitner, head of the Directorate for Space and Security Affairs at the Federal Ministry of Research, Technology and Space in Germany, said that, as you know, Germany currently does not have civilian telecommunications capabilities. We have a military SATCOM BW communication system. They plan to create the next version, the next generation of this system. So, So basically, they don't have near the kind of infrastructure that we do, and they realize they have to recreate it from scratch.
They do not have any rocketry capability at all that I'm aware of.
They have Ariane.
But that's their borrowed neighbor and ESA. That's not Germany.
Yep. Right. The one that they have in Germany is having some problems because they started launching those things and they blew up the first one, and I don't know how well the second one did. So maybe the third time will be the charm for that company. I wish them well, but they got a ways to go.
It took 20 years for SpaceX to become SpaceX. Everybody forgets that, but it was a slog. Now, I don't think it will take 20 years for the next SpaceX to become SpaceX.
Oh God, no. Once someone showed you the path on how to do it, then you're going to figure it out.
We saw China.
Look at China. They're already doing reusables.
Yeah, last week, right? I mean, it didn't take them very long. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that is the core of what it means for the Starship Singularity. Like, that is the point of that phrase, is that there are ripple effects that are unpredictable. And I think what just happened with SpaceX and Bezos pivoting to the moon is part of that unpredictable singularity, right? So, Europe, Germany needing their own system. I'm like, duh, catch up, y'all. I don't have a lot of compassion for that, honestly. Like,
no,
like they didn't know it was coming.
Yeah, or JD Vance says, "I just don't care, Margaret." I'm sorry. Next up, this is something you sent me. The California company intends to fly astronauts to the space station in 2027, but they say they're fully unlocking the orbital economy. So what's been going on until now?
I was like, okay. But what I really liked about this was it's vast. It's not Axiom. So this is another space station in the commercial mix officially. So I think that's a big deal. That to me was the key to it was, you've got Voyager. All right, they're doing some cool stuff. They've been up there for a while. Axiom's been trying for a long time, and they have a very questionable track record. I love the company, but still I wonder what they're doing. And so
Mhm.
Vast coming in as fast as they have
Yep.
and basically ate Axiom's lunch. That was the takeaway for me, was that they moved twice as fast and have gotten, half as far in a very short amount of time. And I find it particularly funny. I don't know if it's doing it for you, but on my feed from space.com, they're feeding me an Axiom ad while I'm talking about throwing Axiom under the
Well,
bus. Right.
they've tapped into you, haven't they? Speaking of conspiracy theories, they've tapped into everything you do.
They
And as soon as you speak about it, oh, here's an ad.
Right. I'm just going to read one little piece. Vast and
Yep.
Axiom have
Yep.
similar long-term ambitions. Both companies aim to establish and operate a private space station in low Earth orbit, and both see organizing tourist flights to the ISS as a step toward achieving that goal. So, love it. I think it's cool, and I do think it does change things. And oh my God, I hope that we do not have a gap in an orbital presence. I really want Vast and Axiom to step it up and be in place by the time we orbit that beautiful machine up there.
Yep, absolutely. We've talked about this a lot, and so we don't want to break. We don't want to break in human space presence at all. Whether it takes Vast or 5 other companies along with Vast to get that done, somebody's got to be up there all the time doing important shit.
Right, always, always.
Whether it's from the government or from private sector or whatever's going on, you got to be people up there, and more of them, lots of them, almost 100 people up there, and 20 different pieces of machinery. That would be fine with me. This one's kind of a funny one. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but apparently Eric Schmidt, he's about my age. He must be getting senile, and he's he's head of Alphabet, right? And he says, "Oh, we're running out of electricity, and we need space-based data centers." So Elon Musk taps in on X and goes, "Gee, if there's only a company that would be capable of doing that." No love lost between these guys, right?
I love that so much. I do. But not everybody knows that Schmidt left Google a couple years ago. Alphabet, you're right. I should call it Alphabet. He left Alphabet, and he owns Relativity Space. Like, he was the rescue angel that pulled Relativity back from the brink.
Yep. So, and they even have their own data center moonshot. Look at that.
Yeah.
They're doing their own thing. So why would he say something like that? We're working on it. He could have said we're working on it. This is the problem, but we're working on fixing it, like a lot of other people. But no, he just had to act like a guy with like a headless chicken running around.
Right. Yeah.
Oh God, that's so funny. There's that.
I'm just going to read a section there because I think it's kind of important, right?
Sure.
Because we've already talked about Bezos, about Musk and their lunar pivot. So here's Sundar Pichai. I think I'm pronouncing his last name right. I've never actually been sure of that. He's the CEO, the current CEO. Reaffirmed the company's Project Suncatcher, a plan to test small orbital data center prototypes by 2027. Pichai describes the effort as a moonshot similar to the ambition of Waymo, saying the early test racks would eventually evaluate reliability and thermal management in orbit. So here's another billionaire that we don't usually talk about on this show, putting his hat into the ring for space data centers, right? So I think that's number 7. I think it's definitely number 5.
It's up there.
It's number 7. Yeah. So, right. Yeah.
Right.
That's got to be good, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. Love it.
Okay. Now, speaking of saving power, this next thing was something I just found like this morning. So some people out of Penn State demonstrated an optical computing module that by its function can actually lower the energy cost of AI by shifting key calculations from electronic circuits to light-based hardware. And so I guess, of course, now this is a serious concern. They're now predicting AI data centers could consume more than 13% of global electricity by 2028. That's not long from now.
Right.
Due to the power, both the power draw and the heat generated. So I'm glad they're looking at it from the perspective of the innards of all these big iron servers that they're plopping into these huge buildings. That might, I don't know how much of a difference it will make. Someone is going to have to calculate that. How cheap are these things to manufacture and maybe even retrofit in the data centers that exist now? That would be
trillions of dollars of infrastructure obsoleted with this new technology if it comes online.
True.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's neat. I love it. As a guy who's been kind of watching what happens in the lab slowly make it out its way into the world, I've lost a little bit of confidence in lab level tech because it takes a long time to get that into the world. So I don't think anybody should be like rewriting their business models based on this tech yet. But assuming it works, you will eventually have to rewrite your business models. So,
well, you know what? We had a guest on our show once a while back who actually talked about that. Right. Stephen Fleming, who did that for his alma mater, Georgia Tech, for many years.
Yeah,
and he had great stories to tell. So I hope we get him back on again sometime soon. And other than that, I got maybe one more thing.
Yeah, we got to talk about this one because it's part of how.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There's something from Benzinga. SpaceX reportedly considering dual class shares to keep Musk in control after the IPO. That almost sounds like a conspiracy theory by itself, doesn't it?
Right? I know. I sent it to you on purpose. I'm like, whoa, wait a second. Wait a second.
I don't care what you sent me. I still got a better one. You're going to hear it tonight.
Yeah, I know. but this is real, right? Like he took a page from Zuckerberg and he said, I want to stay in control after I give up my equity. So I'm going to rewrite the agreements to give me power. And I think that's kind of cool. And I also think it's kind of terrifying. So when I first talked to Gwen Shotwell, probably 2010, maybe it was 2011. She was saying that there was talk about going public then in 2010 and 11, and Musk said no, and the reason was that he didn't want to give up the Martian legacy that he wanted to build.
Right.
And he didn't want to give up control. So now they've found a lever, a market element that allows them to them to get what he wants, right? Eat his cake and have it too. Yeah,
exactly. Well, there is those are the fun days for Gwyn and the rest of us as well, because in those days they were still building stuff. They'd only had a few successful launches, and so she was still showing up to all our conferences then and hanging out at the after parties.
Yep,
which were legendary.
Legendary, isn't that the line from?
I miss Ben. Yeah. It was Ben and Pura, did those.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Wow, those were great. Those were super fun.
Yeah. We're all too old and responsible now.
Well, yeah. All right. Are we done? Are we
that's all the news I wanted to talk about. So
all right.
Okay. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's
tonight. I said we had a special night tonight, and we're kind of going old school Art Bell tonight just for fun. Called Tinfoil Hat Night. We invited everyone here to bring their favorite space conspiracy theories to share. We're going old school, and we're going to put on our hats now.
Let's bring in our guests. Let's bring in our
And joining us is our returning guest, Dallas Bienhoff, who has graciously agreed to come in and be a part of the
Why?
fun.
Why?
Why? Why?
Why?
Okay, we're gonna do this. All right, ready? Yep.
Oh my gosh.
That's it. Here we go.
Wow.
Ready? We're doing it. We're ready. Yeah.
All
I have none.
Well, that's okay. Okay, where do you guys want to start?
Obama.
Huh?
Obama says there are aliens.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? He did. Didn't he?
He walked it back.
And Trump kind of brushed it off. Like,
He said, "No, they're not."
Yeah, duh.
We haven't
Sure,
seen it yet.
whatever. Yeah. We all know that. Yeah.
So I haven't seen any evidence of them.
Right.
Not yet.
But
But there's a lot of people who claim they have. That's a lot of fun.
the probability is such that there must be.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
I guess he doesn't know the Drake equation.
Well, there's crap tons of stuff going on. I could start with the big one. I could start with people look at our solar system out there and they say, "You realize how screwed up our solar system is? It doesn't look like a natural creation in some places. You think of these because you've looked at things. We're now looking at like exoplanets that go around, and so and they all look kind of. The distribution is kind of a regular pattern, and they all seem to be spinning around at the same rate. And but here, our solar system. Look at Venus. It rotates in the opposite direction. You've got on the other end of things, let's see, Mars is a very eccentric orbit. You have Uranus, which actually rolls on its side as it's going around its orbit. Neptune only has a lopsided orbit that actually takes it outside the orbit of Pluto for a while.
Which isn't a planet.
Where it is right now, as a matter of fact, for a few years. Then it dips back in again.
Crazy.
Now, and you think, well, how did all this come to pass? And that's where the conspiracy theories come in, sort of. There's all sorts of wild theories, none of which could be proven, specifically, but that doesn't stop people from coming up with stories. Right. In fact, one of them that I picked up that I really liked, apparently there was at one time where the asteroid belt is now, there was a huge planet. It was teeming with life. It had a civilization, and it had a big oversized moon, which we now call Mars. It also had, a nice atmosphere and a nice civilization. They went to war, supposedly, and the guys of the big planet finally said, "We're doing the final solution. We're going to stop everything and kill everybody." And they blew up their own damn planet. Their super weapon that they built got out of control. It blew up the whole damn planet. That's how we got the asteroid belt. Well,
and Scientologists.
Well, them too, and the probably and Zemu was that? Yeah, that one. And they and so, but the only planets that were really in the way of this were Venus and Uranus and Neptune. The rest of the outer planets and the inner ones were on the other side of the sun, so they didn't get impacted much. That would include Earth.
Well, that was convenient.
Yeah, it was convenient. But basically, it flipped. It was so hard, it flipped Venus 180 degrees.
Wow.
The impact from this explosion flipped Venus 180 degrees, and that's why it's spinning. It seems to be spinning in the opposite direction. It flipped Uranus 90 degrees, and that's why it's rolling on its side. And it pushed Neptune out of the way a little bit. And so, yeah, and that's, I thought Velikovsky's Worlds in Collision was an interesting thing, but this is absolutely bizarre, and it's all over the internet now. Everybody's talking about it.
That's
so, and to make their perspective to say, well, look at Mars. Mars on one side is kind of smooth and kind of weathered down, but the other side of Mars looks like really messed up and all jagged, like they've been in a nuclear war or something. And so, I don't know. What do you think?
That's crazy. I've actually not heard that one, and I'm a little surprised that one's new to me. Yeah, an interstellar war, or an system war that was big enough to flip a planet. That's pretty.
Why didn't
That's
it hurt us?
Yeah.
Wes is in there. Is like, I'll take flat earthers for 100. I've had 3 different conversations with people that are certain, scientifically proven that the moon is hollow, and you can actually hear it if you put your ear to there's a ping. There's a ping. And they have proven it. And you know, when I tell them I do space research, like that's the first thing they want to talk about. They're like, wait, what? I could get to talk to somebody about the hollow earth or the hollow moon theory? I'm like, oh, good, right?
Yeah, there was a story that has been around for years, forever, where they said on one of the Apollo missions, when they got in from the LEM back into the capsule, they pushed the LEM back out and kind of fired it remotely so it would crash hard into the moon, because they had these seismic sensors and they just wanted to see how long it would go. And they said when the thing hit, it rang like a gong.
Right.
The moon rang like a gong for hours. It just took it took 7 times longer than they ever thought it would, given experiments on Earth and what they know about seismometers. And
Right.
so that was where that story started.
Yeah.
There's no liquid to damp it out.
Right. No, but I mean, they have turned that into, they've turned something that was real into the moon is hollow, and like, I double dog dare you that.
Well, they're digging up a very old science fiction story called The Brick Moon.
Okay.
Which is
I've never. Who wrote it? Who?
Oh my God, this was written before Jules Verne. I've got it in my master's thesis.
Wow. Okay.
I will pull it out and look up who wrote it.
Okay. All right.
Oh,
He's doing it now.
Happen to have it right here. Right.
He's going. Yeah, I get the.
What did I say I would pull out? Anyway, keep talking.
Well,
I got to join the crew. I got to get my tinfoil hat on.
There you go.
There
you go. And everything just reflects off of, so we don't really see it. The background
your
image.
tinfoil hat.
That's great. That's
good
move.
Right.
Good move.
Right. Yeah.
Yep. And Morty says, yes, we all know the moon is an alien base to monitor us and make sure we don't escape.
That's a good actually, that's not a terrible idea. I mean, really.
Which was another story, that came back from Apollo 11. Those guys, supposedly there was the lost transcript that said, oh, guys, they put it on private channel and said, guys, there are like a bunch of spacecraft on the rim of the crater and they're all looking at us.
Right.
Buzz said that. And so.
Well, it would make sense why aliens wouldn't come visit us. It would be like us not going to certain neighborhoods. Right. No, I'm not going down there. That's
that place is too insane. Let them, let them evolve a little first.
Right.
So the Brick Moon, was written in 1865 by Edward Everett Hale.
Really?
Yes, really.
Wow. I know Edward Everett Hale. Yes.
You remember him?
Yes.
No.
How old I am.
All right.
From school.
I've pulled it up, and I might just add that to my reading list.
Absolutely.
It's a short story,
but it's right there. But it's right there, kind of with about the same time, from the Earth to the Moon. Jules Verne, came out about the same period. So, there's this little wave of speculative fiction, as they called it then. It didn't become sci-fi until
going to the moon on dewdrops.
Swans
taking us to the moon.
Swans. I love the Swans one. I do. I'm a fan of the Swans, where you just hitch swans together like a horse and carriage and just fly away. Yeah, I dig that one.
Big ass swans.
Yeah.
So here's a conspiracy theory from the past.
Right.
A real one.
Yeah.
Propellant depots will kill large launch vehicles.
Oh, right. That is that really circulated. Like that was there was a lot of people on that.
That was the NASA philosophy.
Yeah.
How dare you talk about depots because it'll kill SLS. And
Right.
what do we have now? We have Starship with propellant depots, New Glenn with propellant depots, and reusable spacecraft. And anyway, but they will kill large launch vehicles.
Yeah.
Well, we got Daniel Faber on the show next week. Is it
Next Monday.
next week?
Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
Monday.
We're going to talk about propellant depots because, kind of a good idea. Kind of a good idea, Dallas.
Well, that's what we told on the New Year's Eve show. I think we talked about that because that was one of Elon's goals for 2026 later in the year after he does a couple of the new base model starships. He wants to do a demo of
he has to. He has to.
Yeah.
But I wasn't the only one with depots that ULA.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, he passed a few years ago. And George Sowers.
Sowers, yeah. Yep.
And we all got in trouble.
Yeah.
So
sometimes conspiracy theories spark a rebellion that actually turns into something real because we do
the status quo.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We have to do our missions with one launch. We can't do multiple launches to do a mission. I just can't do it. It's not going to work. It's too risky. Rendezvous and docking is too risky. We go to the space station every other month.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
With docking.
Yeah. And it's still based on equations Buzz Aldrin wrote for his PhD thesis in 1965.
He is Dr. Rendezvous.
Yep.
And he did that by he taught people by driving Jeeps in circles in the desert.
Yeah.
What's that story?
Yes. They practiced rendezvous by driving Jeeps in circles at different radii and had to follow the orbital mechanics to understand the concept.
All right. That's cool. Didn't know that one.
Yeah, Buzz pioneered a whole bunch of things, like using the pool. That was a
neutral buoyancy tank.
Yeah.
Using the buoyancy tank because everybody was just wiping themselves out trying to do a spacewalk. They were just like drenched in sweat and breathing heavily. They couldn't do it. And so basically Buzz's answer was, well, stop fighting it. That's the problem. You're fighting it. You're fighting that action-reaction stuff. Just float like you would float in a pool and just let it go and learn how to do things in a light way and just pull it, and do it that way. And that changed everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Crazy
cyclers and castles. Absolutely.
Yep.
So
Buzz invited me to his house to talk about cyclers in the in the Space Exploration Initiative days.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a moment for history. Good on you, man.
It was. They'd call me 6 a.m. on Sunday morning.
Fine. Yeah. Yes, sir. How can I help you? Right?
Yeah. Pretty much.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah. That is cool. What else we got? Well,
it depends. Where do you want to go? You want to go to Disclosure?
No, really? Okay.
We can go there. There are areas we can go there. There is we've talked about Area 51, but all the good stuff was moved out of there years ago.
Okay.
Obviously, before Obama was
prop it up to keep people excited, and so they'll go visit.
Obama, so now you're confirming Obama, right? Obama said he didn't see anything in Area 51.
They moved it out. Now
he moved it a long time ago.
They moved everything, so he could be true. He could be honest and still not tell the whole story. That's funny.
They moved it to Montana.
It's still, but by keeping it there and pretending there's something there, it boosts the tourism industry in New Mexico.
Okay. All right.
You know,
And
they're one of
everybody
the
knows New Mexico needs all the help it can with tourism.
they're one of the poorest states in the country.
Right. So where did it move to?
Montana.
Montana.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, there's nothing in Montana.
No,
Nobody's
that's
gonna find that.
I
There's no
love Montana.
Montanans in Montana. I
I,
think.
I
All
just-
6 of them?
I just watched Independence Day. I don't know. It's a 30th anniversary again. Love that movie. Right.
I gotta get me one of these.
Yeah. Right. He punches the alien to Earth. Like best one.
So the alien spacecraft from another solar system finally fired up its engines this week.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
venting. It's the Atlas, whatever.
Oh,
asteroid.
the big
It's starting
Yep.
to vent. It's starting to
Yep.
vent now. So it's fired up its engines. It's ready to leave.
All right. I wish that was true. I'm just gonna say it. I'm gonna say it, and it's not a conspiracy. I'm gonna take my hat off. I wish it was true. I wish it was true. I love Avi Loeb. Dr. Loeb impresses the hell out of me, and I hope that he has sparked a whole generation to ask more questions. But Atlas, Three Eye Atlas, I love that thing.
Yeah.
I think it's super cool. I like his interpretation. I think he asks legit questions that should be asked, and I wish it was what he's like. Maybe it is, right? He never says it's an interstellar spacecraft coming to Earth. He never said that. The internet said he said that, right? The internet turned him into this prophet of doom. That is never what he said. He said you should ask better questions, and the anomalies that are here are anomalies, and we should investigate it. That's what science is for.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Love that. I wish that it was aliens. I wish they fired up their engines. I wish they were coming by to say hello, but no, they're not. Not that we know of yet.
If they had sense, they wouldn't.
Yeah, right. You know, interdiction zone, like Jason said, right? Oh man, yeah, yeah. That's. I think that one's pretty wild, actually. I had a conversation with somebody at the SETI Institute probably 15 years ago, and he's basically like, yeah, I believe there's stuff out there. Of course I do. Mathematically, it makes sense. But it's the C problem. And if you can't go faster than the speed of light, C, you can't get there from here, right? And we don't have any plans. We don't have any like knowledge about how to go faster than the speed of light. So if there is somebody out there, and if they do show up, they are technologically very far ahead of us, and that's probably bad news. So, I mean, that was direct from somebody that works at SETI, which I like. We're having a beer, like it was just a chill conversation, and I'm like, tell me what's really going on.
Well, not only is it hard to go from A to B and that across the universe, but the time. I mean, our development times have to overlap a little bit for that to happen too.
Yeah.
So there could be civilizations here time-wise, and we're here time-wise, and we'd never see each other.
Nope. Yeah. So the Drake equation. I know somebody updated the Drake equation with Drake's help when they added in a couple other elements.
Yeah, that was a few years ago.
Yeah. Because the Drake equation was incomplete because of that time, age of your civilization versus the age of my civilization,
and not wiping yourself out versus
right. Speaking of good science fiction, I think it's a Clark story. I think it's Bradbury. It's Bradbury where where all of those supernovas in the sky are just industrial accidents of civilizations that didn't figure out how not to blow themselves up.
No.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Well, there it is. There's your answer to the Fermi paradox.
Right.
Right there. Right.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the final test. You failed.
You failed, right? You mess with the technology that was volatile enough to blow up your sun, and it's a warning post to everybody else.
So if we get past our test and we actually get out amongst the stars, the people we should be bringing with us, not so many chemists, not so many biologists, we should be bringing archaeologists, because that's what we're going to find mostly is the wreckage of a lot of civilizations that just failed the test.
There is, I mean, back to conspiracy theories. There's a whole civilization that failed on Mars, right?
Yeah.
Well,
they were the survivors from the explosion. And Mars went careening off, into the solar system, and of course, slowly the atmosphere is going away. Slowly, the water is dying out, and so they didn't last very long. And but they left some monuments behind, supposedly.
Yeah.
Remember Richard Hoagland?
Yeah, oh yeah, the face and all that.
The face on Mars. I mean, we've got more high-res imagery now. It doesn't look quite so much like the face anymore, but people won't give up the Cydonia thing. And so they say there's something there, and there might still be a base there to this day, because that leads into other theories about the secret space program that Washington's been doing.
I met somebody who swears that she is the daughter of the pioneers of Mars. There is still a base there. There's been a base there for 70 years. This is her claim. There's been a base there. Her grandmother died on Mars. Her parents were born on Mars, and they emigrated her back to Earth to be an ambassador to check on how things were going back home. This was a 15-minute conversation, hyper detailed. She had details. She had the receipts as far as she was concerned. Fascinating conversation. Yeah.
So she could walk and run and stuff in Earth gravity.
Yep. Well, it was a test.
It was Mars gravity.
She was a guinea pig about whether or not we could build a friendly civilization between the two cultures again.
And it wasn't clear how they got there and back. It was either reverse engineered, alien spacecraft, they made that trip, or it was some kind of Stargate thing that you just turn it on and step through it. And it's not, depending on who you listen to, they go either way.
Yeah, it is.
That's a fun one. That's another one. That's one of those Fox Mulder. I want to believe this one, man. I want to believe that people are there waiting for us when we get there. It says, we've been here all the time, and here's all the goodies now that you finally figured this out.
Right.
Yeah.
It is pretty fascinating, going to conferences. I don't get these weird conversations when I'm at space conferences because people there kind of know what the heck we're talking about. But you go to a sci-fi convention, that's it. And not to throw those folks under a bus. I love those folks. They're hardcore fans, and I love them. But some of them, they are there because they really believe a very alternate version of the future. There's somebody I talked to about faster than light communications that with quantum tunneling, you can have two atoms side by side and separate them, and they stay in sync, and you modify one, and the reaction happens simultaneously with the other, and that you can have faster than light comms, not travel. He was only talking about comms, and he's like, that's how we're gonna build out the base on Mars. I'm like, well, that's actually a good idea if you can pull that off. I like that plan. But some of the sci-fi convention conversations are very much.
Oh yeah, you can find some interesting stuff. Okay, here's something. I want. This something is actually based on reality. Your interpretation may vary. I want to introduce you to two guys, and between them, they have 9 patents. And you can look these guys up. That's the real part. You can look these guys up at the patent office. One of them is named Ken Shoulders. Okay. Now, Ken Shoulders did a lot of work with electrical charge on various types of materials, sometimes different kinds of exotic materials, metamaterials, a lot of different things. And he just looked at the properties of electrical charge stratified across, a large space. And he found some stuff that he found a way to do this such that some of the material he was working with, when you put the charge across it, it would just float in the air. Right.
Oh,
He got 5 patents around this. Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it is said that Ken Shoulders figured out how UFOs fly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, let's fast forward about 40 years. The U.S. Navy, within the last 10 years, the U.S. Navy had a bunch of patents they were sitting on, 4 patents they were sitting on. And they released them to the general public. So you can now look them up at the patent office and download those as well. And they were written by a guy named, I don't know if it's his real name, Salvador Pais, savior of the country.
Okay.
That's what it means in Spanish. Salvador Pais came up with this stuff. He was doing research on energy, and one of his patents came up with an actual little device that makes an incredible amount of energy out of what I don't know. I haven't really read it in detail, but it's like a little thing. But you could put this thing apparently in your Tesla, take all the batteries out of it, so it'd be safer to drive and a lot lighter. And it would run your Tesla for God knows how long, forever. And so Ken Shoulders figured out how UFOs fly, and they're saying Salvador Pais is the guy who figured out what powered them.
Okay.
All right.
We got the tools in our hands, according to them. The disclosure people. I snuck it in there, but yeah.
So,
let me just comment to Doug here for a second. He's like, is Dallas the guest? I joined late, and so I'm somewhat confused about what's going on. All right, so
no kidding.
Poor Doug.
Doug,
Tried to warn you. I put
Right.
it out there and advertised it.
we're just like we're all wearing goofy hats. We're all wearing tinfoil hats. I was a dork. I went to the store to buy aluminum foil, and I got parchment paper instead. So
You never learned how to read, did you?
apparently, right. So, Doug, we're just having a good time tonight. We're all riffing off of each other with crazy stories that we've heard in the space sector.
I'm going to build on the story from Tom.
Okay.
About the 2 people.
All right.
Real story. Father of a college girlfriend, worked in electronics, and when he started working, transistors were just coming out.
Okay. So mid-50s.
Mid-50s, and he was given a lab, given transistors, and said, go play with them and find out what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
He magnetized a broomstick, a wooden broomstick.
Wow. You asked me.
Well, that's what he told me. On the other hand, he arrived from a trip. He and I were on the same plane.
Okay.
I was coming back from an interview at Martin Marietta, and we had dinner that night with his wife. But he said, I had these guys rolling in the plane because we were talking, and I told him I was an NBA star. And Luke is about 5 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
And they said, well, how did you do that? He said, I lied about my height.
Oh, that's priceless.
Bud Webb wouldn't think that was funny.
Right.
Wait a minute. Can't you see? Anyway.
Right. I lied about my height.
I don't have a conspiracy theory. I'm not good at it as you guys are, but I do have a story about when I first went out to Seattle and interned with Michael at Liftport. and we're sitting in the conference room. He's giving this lecture about
This would be 2005, right?
2006.
Yeah.
He's giving this lecture about the 4 pillars. Now I'm in my early 30s, and I'm sitting there listening. We've got the other 2 interns there, Joe Julian's there, and they go through things, and then talk about having it at the equator. And I said, well, I'll tell you what I would do. I would just turn it into its own private country and hire out private security and legalize gambling and all the sins, and then bring the churches in and laboratory. And Michael just stopped, looked at me, he goes, don't ever say that again.
That's the first thing that makes money in a new industry.
Right. That is totally true. I forgot about that. Yeah. Make our own country. That we talked about. I got somebody's book up there on the shelf called Seasteading. There's a bunch of folks that wanted to turn the original Liftport ship into its own sovereign nation. There were a bunch of people that were back in that play. I'm like, nope, we are not doing that.
Well, if
Why
the cops
not?
are too close, you can't do it here. If you're going to do an independent new nation, you got to do it on Mars or someplace. You know, even the moon breaking away would be really hard.
Right.
My reasoning was, if we built the space elevator, invite the United Nations to come headquarters at our place and dare somebody.
Oh man.
Oh God, yeah. There's a couple guys who would have taken him up on it, but they're not with us.
Yeah. No, there was a lot. Yeah. Oh, Jason's like, Doug, just hop in with a conspiracy for the Brotherhood. So that's funny. Yeah, we only got like 9 more minutes here. I'm a little surprised our audience has been quiet today. I don't know. They're
probably in shock.
Right. We're kind of off script, off our normal script. But this was on purpose. So
yeah.
I'm gonna add one that I'm like, the reason that we started this, and Doug, we didn't say this on the show earlier, so I'm gonna bring it in. The reason that we started this is I said something crazy maybe a week and a half ago about my own personal. It's not conspiracy theory because I'm the only one who believes it. It's not like 2 people don't believe it. You have to have 2 people to make a conspiracy.
Right.
But I made some nonsense comment about how SpaceX was going to gobble up all of those companies, and it was going to flood so much cash into Musk's personal checking account that he could leave SpaceX and Tesla and X and XAI, just leave it to the board, abandon it, and they have so much free cash flow that he could self-fund a mission to Mars and leave. That is how this episode happened, because I said something crazy and everybody started laughing and I was being sarcastic, but that's how this episode happened. So we're like, we all know something crazy in this field. So that was conspiracy number 1. And then the other one, which I actually heard from somebody else tonight before the show, which was Musk is working on Neuralink and XAI, and he was an original founder of OpenAI. And we just reported that he's going to control all the shares of the new super SpaceX. He's going to clone himself digitally, upload himself to the computer, and control SpaceX for 1,000 years. That's my other theory. Not a conspiracy, because no one else believes me, but you follow those breadcrumbs and they lead you to Musk could run the future of SpaceX for thousands of years because he's uploading himself to
there's a sci-fi movie there somewhere.
I know, right? So not a conspiracy. You need other people to believe you.
Right. Our space law, your friends will chime in about digital duplicate own property.
Right.
Well,
yeah.
I promised you my theory about Musk before we started the show. So we're getting running out of time, but let me get this to you quickly. I think Musk discovered when he made his, and this is the reason he made his pivot to the moon in 10 years and building a city there. He figured out a way. He hasn't told us yet. He figured out a way once he gets to his IPO and he's like a trillionaire, right? He's figured out a way to take that 10-year lunar city project and essentially leverage it to increase his net worth by a factor of 3 or 4.
Sure.
So that's part one. Part two is he takes a chunk of that. Now he's like 4 trillion, on paper, right?
Yeah.
So he takes $1 trillion of it and essentially builds Battlestar Galactica. He's got a big ship with a big fusion engine on the end of it, more powerful than anything Starship could do.
Right.
And it'll hold 5,000 people at a pop.
Right.
And he'll get to Mars in 2 months. And he'll end up getting there and building his colony actually years before he expected to.
Right.
Just using starships alone.
Yep.
And in fact, you send a bunch of starships there in advance, and they're just full of robots and tech and all sorts of things. And they're actually building the town in advance for the next, for the first settlers. So they're ready 10 or 15 years before he expected to get there. And the moon paid for it.
And the other reason he's going to the moon is there's oil on the moon.
Well, I heard his relatives are still there too. So,
yeah.
But that's another science fiction book. There's oil on the moon.
There's oil on the moon.
Is this a reason to go? So it's not from dragon. It's not from dinosaurs.
Right.
It's not
no. Well, there's
from something else.
It's from Mars shrimp.
Well, I always thought about that too. I mean, that's not so theory type stuff. When we're doing a little bit of global warming here, but there's been global warming going on Mars and on Titan and on other places at the same time. So there's not effluent necessarily causing it on those other planets.
It's the sun. It's the sun.
And there's a lot of just the sun. Just the sun.
It's the dark mass.
The sun's getting a little bit warmer all the time. It was, when the dinosaurs were around, the stars, the sun was significantly dimmer than it is now. And yet there were millions of years where even with that dimmer sun, the Earth was in fact a swamp. For 80% of the life of Earth, there's been no ice at the poles.
You know that there's a group down in LA that is trying to block the sun with lunar regolith, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that's going to work well.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing but good things are going to come out of that.
Yeah. What could go wrong with that?
Steve Gordon wanted to do it with panels itself. Back in 30 years ago, we talked about that, blocking the sun with structure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got some fun times ahead of us if some of those systems come online.
Oh, you got to see this. And Jason is Neuralink is in over 30 people now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, I'm right. They're working on that. Hey,
I might need that when I'm 90, So, hey, it's Neuralink runs into an exoskeleton and I can still walk around.
I'm counting on that. Are you kidding? Yeah. Yeah.
Did you see the Chinese robots dancing
yes
this past week?
Yeah.
And doing swords and other people on the stage?
Yep. That's cool stuff.
It's getting pretty scary. Yeah.
War of the Clones, the Star Wars movie with all the
right?
Attack of the Clones. Yep. They're coming. They're coming sooner than we expected. On the moon and on Mars, like Jason says, that's probably what's going to do it first. They'll be building everything, then the humans will come and move in.
Right.
Elon was going to send several of their robots to the moon on the first mission to Mars.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was more fun than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of dreading this one, so I'm glad it worked out well.
And if it failed miserably, we could have just blamed you.
Right.
So less wild than I expected.
What a terrible idea. Yeah. Right. Oh, good.
Well, it helps that It helps that your tin hat looks like you are getting ready to go dance on a hot tin roof.
There you go. There you go. All right. Well, I didn't get to the Galactic Federation or the Tic Tac videos, but I got 30 seconds. The Tic Tac videos and that massive sighting of the wedge-shaped thing over Phoenix. Remember those videos?
Yep.
They were one of ours. I'll leave you with that. Okay. Monday, we're going to return to our normal tomfoolery. And our guest is Dan Faber, Chief of Orbit Fab. As always, 8 p.m. Eastern. For all you guys and for the news desk of the Center for Space Commerce and Finance, having a great time tonight. I remain Thomas Andrew Olson.